Throughout the Clone Wars, the Republic liberated many unfortunate worlds who came under the grip of the Separatist Alliance and returned them to democratic worlds of the Republic. One world was so grateful for being liberated by the Republic that they threw a massive parade to celebrate the occasion. What could go wrong? Well, quite a bit did. So, let's find out how this Republic war parade went horribly wrong and how Anakin and Obi-Wan saved the day with a pretty ridiculous method. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe for more awesome Star Wars lore content. The story begins on the very dry and drought-stricken planet of Nothuin, where Anakin, Obi-Wan and Commander Cody are meeting with a local representative from the planet who has organized a massive parade to mark Liberation Day for the planet. The group are inside a highly experimental, captured Separatist ship, which has just been produced. Anakin is extremely impressed at how big the attendance is at the parade to celebrate, and the Nothuin local says that, thankfully it's not often that the Nothuins find their world overrun by droids, but they certainly know how to celebrate when their world is returned safely, and how to thank those responsible before shaking Obi-Wan's hand. Obi-Wan then thanks the local leader named Truve and tells him that this success is just as much due to his own swoop riders and their aerial skills as anything the Republic was able to achieve on the ground. Obi-Wan says that his men would have been slaughtered without Truve's superior knowledge of the local area and his support from the air. Truve then tells Obi-Wan that perhaps this is true, but his hit-and-run tactics alone are not enough to liberate a city. Without the support of the Republic, they would be eating scrap metal for breakfast and taking oil baths right now. And he adds that without Republic support, they wouldn't have been able to catch a remarkable vehicle such as this. Commander Cody then very quickly chimes in, however, adding that we didn't actually capture it, General. We just found it, sort of waiting for us in the Separatist staging ground. Anakin then responds to Cody by saying, that's largely because it's entirely experimental, and the Seppies hadn't even packed it up yet. After Anakin says this, Obi-Wan admits that he was initially very worried about including this experimental vehicle in the parade because Anakin has a very long and colourful history of playing badly with new hardware, whether that be Republic tech or otherwise. And also he had no idea what type of traps could have been on the vessel. Anakin is angered slightly by this but brushes it off, while Commander Cody is enjoying the sight of the local pilots flying close down to the parade. Cody very quickly interrupts the Jedi's joyful chat with General Truve to respectfully mention that he thinks the riders may be flying just a little too low. Truve, however, says that this is just part of the display and that Cody should watch carefully because a low pass in these vehicles is the highest mark of respect that the Nothuin people can bestow upon soldiers. General Truve explains, first they glide low in a tight triple-decked formation and then the sign of gold. This mark of respect is a symbol of a permanent bond between the Republic and this planet in their native culture. Anakin though does begin to share Cody's concern as he notices that the golden dust is not only blinding the parade, but also all of the crowd, sending them into a mass panic, causing them to run in every direction. This causes Truve to immediately realize that Commander Cody was right and that they dropped the dust far too low, which confuses him greatly as he handpicked his best pilots. Obi-Wan is then very concerned and has a nasty feeling that these are not actually his men. They don't have much time to think about it, however, as they are very quickly coming around for another pass. As this is happening, Anakin tells Commander Cody to take the controls for a while Obi-Wan runs things from the ground. While Cody and Obi-Wan handle their duties, Anakin is going to get a little wild, leaping from ship to ship through the dense golden dust, before eventually taking a massive risk, leaping onto one of the air riders. Obi-Wan is pretty panicked and angry at Anakin for taking such risks at this point, but General Truve is delighted, remarking that this Jedi certainly likes to get his hands dirty, a quality the Nothians admire highly. While this is going on, Commander Cody interrupts saying, Generals, I don't want to spoil a great day, and I hate to add to the drama, but I'm not in control here. This machine appears to be driving itself. With the controls no longer in Cody's hands, the prototype Separatist ship blasts through a nearby barrier and plows right into a crowd of civilians nearby. As a result of this, Obi-Wan calls out to all nearby clone parade units, requesting immediate support on the parade track. The parade clone units then report back to Kenobi that they'd love to help, but they appear to be under fire from the Nothian locals. And because of their golden smoke display, they can't even see which way's up. When Anakin hears about this, he hilariously tells his master, honestly master, I leave you alone for 10 seconds and you start a rebellion. Obi-Wan however is not having it, telling Anakin to take back to the sky, while he sorts the little rebellion out down below. Immediately after this, Obi-Wan receives a communication through the inside of his ship. On the other end is the infamous Gorga the Hutt, who tells him that the lack of war and the Republic's control of the planet is not good for business, and he would like to change that as soon as possible. He is about to go on a long rant about war and profits to Kenobi, but General Truve is sick of his disgusting display and simply shoots the communication screen before realizing that this is just a false flag attack and that the Hutt cartel is simply drumming up more war just to continue profiting. Not long after, Cody finally discovers how Gorga the Hutt is controlling the ship. is using a shortwave remote control device, which only has a range of less than a click. It's very low grade tech and was constructed on world, but more importantly it's short range, which means the hut must be nearby. Obi-Wan very soon realizes this and is incredibly relieved before checking in to see how Anakin is doing. As usual, Anakin is on a crazy adventure, uncovering the fact that the pilots in the Swoop Riders were actually Trandoshan mercenaries hired by Gorga in order to stage the false flag attack on the planet. After making this revelation, Anakin immediately calls out to all ground troops, wanting them to hold their fire, because of course there is no Republic attack on their world. It's all a ruse by Gorga. Shortly after, Anakin begins to be tailed by a rider named Zach, who has now been tasked by Gorga with obtaining Anakin's head and bringing it back to him since he failed to start a war or bring chaos to the planet. Anakin quickly notices the incredible skill of this pilot and is actually annoyed that he's being outflown by him, especially in a swoop that isn't built to take this level of punishment. Realizing that both of their swoops are about to disintegrate and can't take too much more stress on them, Anakin immediately jumps out of his and hangs onto a piece of fabric nearby, just eager to see if his flying rival will be able to outmaneuver something like that. Unfortunately for Zach, Anakin's vehicle blocks the path and causes him to crash right into it, killing him in a fiery blast, while Anakin is able to leap to safety without a care in the world. At this point, Gorga is panicking and knows that his fate is likely already sealed at this point, as he sees Obi-Wan's ship racing towards him and already knows that Zach is dead. And so, as the smoke finally clears, Gorga demands to know how Obi-Wan managed to find him, a question that Anakin would also like answered. Anakin wonders if the Force guided him to the massive hut, but Obi-Wan says, not in the slightest. Once we realized you had to be nearby in order to use your short-range control unit, we simply drove around until we found a portable container large enough to house you. And to end the story, Gorga simply says, well that's mean. Of course in Huttese, translated to Galactic Basic. This leaves Anakin, Commander Cody and General Tuve laughing hysterically at how ridiculous Obi-Wan's plan was. And hey, maybe Anakin shouldn't have been laughing, because his plan was equally as ridiculous, and definitely could have gotten some civilians killed. But luckily for him, it all went to plan and everything went well. And just for those of you who don't know, there was a crushing drought for the entire 50 years leading up to the Clone Wars, which made the lives of almost the entire population of the planet absolutely miserable, as they didn't have proper running water or the ability to import it. When the Separatists came, they offered to fix the water problem, but at the cost of their own freedom, and at the cost of controlling their own world. Really, the government of the planet had no choice, so they took the deal, but they very quickly got sick of it and asked the Republic to bring them back. So, after a long and bloody battle, the Republic finally came out on top, and they were returned to the Republic, and this time the Republic decided to help out with the water problem. Really, they should have acted in the first place, so it's no surprise the Separatists came in and promised to fix everything, just to take control of their world. So let me know down below, if you were the government of this planet, would you have taken the water deal with the Separatists, or would you have remained with the Republic, and just hope the Senate got around to doing something in the near future? As unlikely as that was. So if you want to see more stories just like this, make sure you let me know down in the comments below, and I'll be sure to cover them. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.